Hello. Happy Friday. Not only is it Friday, it is September 1st. We made it to September. Man, time flies. So, welcome to Developer Office Hour. This is a live stream where I answer questions from the forums, Discord, anywhere where they may come from. Questions about developing for Omniverse using OpenUSD, developing with the Omniverse Kit, and all of that. All the questions answered here are archived in this repository, and with all the sample code and all that I show. And if you want a quick way to be able to browse all of that, there's this link here where there are timestamped links to the videos where I answered these questions. So there's that. Go ahead and share that in the chat. Let me know if you're here. And I think we can get started. So today we're going to be looking at how do I validate my assets to make sure they are up to date with the latest USD specification. So if you saw recent news, we announced this Run USD validator. It is a service where you can just go to this web page, upload a USDZ file, and it will run a series of checks and let you know if it passed all of those. If it didn't, it'll let you know which ones it didn't pass, and then it also shows you a render in an Omniverse viewport. So that's a nice way to validate your assets. Another way I wanted to show you another way. So if you haven't tried this out, there is the link for you. But today we're going to focus on something a little different. Okay, so in Omniverse, in any Omniverse app, go to extensions, and we're looking for the asset validator. There is a core and a UI. You want both of those enabled. And we can go ahead and open that up to see what it looks like. Go to Utilities, Asset Validator. Cool. So you get a UI like this. It can scan, it can validate the current stage, or you can give it a file path to any particular layer that you want to validate. You can say which validations you want to run, enable or disable groups at a time, and then you run analyze, and that's all good. I like to do it this way, so I just want to show you the UI up front. I like to go to layer, right click, and I can either validate this layer. I'm doing the root layer, so that's going to be the stage, right? And I can either validate with unsaved changes or validate the layer from whatever is backed in the file. So I'll do the backed file, and I'll run all of them. And here, when I click analyze, it's going to go ahead and run them. And it let me know that there are two issues here. One of them is the one that I set up on purpose to show you, which is a material binding API issue. And then the other one is a good one, because I saved this as a USDA file just to hack it and create the issue here with the material binding. It also let me know, hey, you've got some large arrays for the geometry. I've got that sphere and all the points are all defined in arrays. And so it's telling me, hey, you should probably convert that into USD file or use USDC in binary so that you'll have improved performance. So that's great. We're not going to deal with that right now. But here it's telling me that this sphere has an issue. There's a material binding, but it doesn't have the material binding API set. And it tells me which layer, which prim on which layer. So I can go ahead and check all of these. In this case, I just want to do the one fix. And I can fix errors on selected. And that's it. And I can go ahead and open this and see that it did do the fix. This is the fix that it needed. It was missing this line here. So, and if I want to quadruple, triple check, just run it again, right? At this point, it's been fixed. I can analyze again, and yeah, it's definitely cleared up there. And just to reinforce, I can go ahead and break it again. Get rid of that API schema. Save it. Validate from file. And there it is, broken again. So, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not sharing my screen. Thank you for letting me know. All right. I think it's worth running through this again, obviously. Well, I have it in a broken state. What I was showing is, first off, ask a validator, search for it. It's 2 extensions. Bam, bam, turn those on. What it does is it brings in here in utilities, ask a validator window. You can use this to validate. I went through this a little bit. You can disable different validation steps. Some of these are like the schema checkers are great because this is like your stuff is broken. You need to run these and make sure you fix them. Some of these other ones are kind of nice to have or suggestions. So let's see, the ASCII performance checker, that's a best practice, but maybe I know better. Maybe I have a reason to not really adhere to that one. Or I think orphaned prim checker is another one, which yeah, orphaned prim checker might be one where you may intentionally break that rule. So we go ahead and analyze. And I showed 2 ways of analyzing. I could either open this and specify stage or URI. Another way is you come over here and you choose a layer here and you say validate from file and go ahead and analyze. And here it's showing me the this issue that I was mentioning, the material binding API issue, which is a schema check that it did. And then there's this ASCII performance checker, which I wrote this out as a USDA. It's telling me there's geometry in here. Maybe it'd be better if you put it into a binary USD or USDC. So I can check the ones that I want to fix. I can check all of them and fix errors on selected. And it's done. So now if I check this file here, it's got the material binding API applied. come back over here, validate, run it, and I can verify. Yeah, that's definitely gone away. So why is this important? As new versions of USD are released, there's going to be changes, improvements to the code and to the way that we structure things that will be incompatible with the with previous versions. So it should be, from what I remember, it should be, I always butcher this, backwards compatible. So older versions shouldn't complain uh, with the new assets that have the new and improved setup. But for the assets that were created previously, you do want to upgrade them. And so there's a couple of ways to do that. I showed you one, which is the asset validator. It's got a nice UI for you to um, for you to analyze and then automatically fix the issues. I think there's also an API for that. There's some good documentation here. Command line utility, bam. So pretty nice. There's two links here. I don't know what the other one is. This one goes, this is going to be the same. Yeah, this is pointing to the same. Well, this one is more of user documentation of how to use the UI. And then this is more purely developer just more code stuff. Here's the API that you can use directly, the Python API, or you could use the command line utility. So if you've got lots of assets that you need to upgrade, this has you covered. So keep that in mind as your future self will thank you. So that's why we need this. That's why we apply these fixes. The one other thing that I wanted to show you is that some of the validation that we run is basic validation that is included with USD. So it's not anything Omniverse specific, which is like the schema checks. Those are all basic USD checks. So what I'm trying to bring up here is this. If you install USD View, you can get access to the USD tool sets. Go to the burger menu, which opens up the settings, and you can open up where it's installed. And you should find in the scripts directory a couple of things here. USD checker, this will alert you of any issues, just like the analyze. And then USD fix broken Pixar schemas, which is a mouthful, but a little funny that they named it this way. And it made it out here into the wild. This one will automatically fix those issues. So we could run through that a little bit. So you don't need to do it here through the USD View installation, but it is really convenient because you don't need to compile USD to get access to these. I think this should work. Set. No, I mean it should just work automatically. Set. Come on. USD checker batch. And I'm going to do downloads, sphere, material binding USDA. And that one succeeded. Let me make sure I break this. Okay. Finish editing. Should all be good now. There you go. Same error, right? Found material binding, but no material binding API applied. So you can see even the message looks very similar from what we saw in the UI. So 3 different ways to check your assets. And then USD, I already forgot the name of it. USD fix broken. I'm copying that. I don't know why tab complete doesn't work on for this. It's not just these batch files, but in general, I think batch files for me. Oops, I need to give it a file. And we're going to do downloads. And so that should have fixed it. So now when I validate it, and it even updated it here, pretty sweet. Go back to here, check it, and it shouldn't complain anymore. So, yeah, keep this in mind. Any questions about all of that? I think that's all I need to show here. All right. Yeah, keep this in mind. It's very real. You know, like about a year ago, I did the USD bookshelf tutorial with this where I provided this book asset, and I had to go back and realize that I needed to that I had these material binding schema issues. So first I validated it with RenUSD, and then I fixed it with the asset validator. So if this hasn't impacted you yet, that's good. But yeah, you want to be sure to keep on top of that going forward. All right, so that covers the questions that I want to go over today. So I will leave it open to open forum. All right, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have the answer to this, but let's see if we can reason about it. So when IsaacSim and IsaacGym, when using IsaacSim and IsaacGym, is there a way to send actions and get some images? Then, during the inference case, prevent Isaac from using any GPU resources completely. Good question. And so this is I am completely naive to the IsaacSim that IsaacSim workflow. If anybody is on that might know better than me, let me know. But there is one, if it is 2 separate steps, there is you can run IsaacSim and Kit and all that without GPU, or what do we call that? Let me come back over here. Well, this one. So like, let's say, not create, let's do code. Hello, EVG. All right. There is been a while since I've done this. It's not listed there. I think it's in the kit docs though. You know what? I'm pretty sure I've done. I feel like I've answered this question. Headless? Nope. Forums are also a really great place to check. This wouldn't show any, now that I think about it, even if you ran in headless mode, it would still probably want to use the GPU. But since we're here, let's see if I can find. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have a good answer for this. I recommend asking on the Isaac Sim forum for that one. Sorry. Data Juggler is asking about the why his extension hasn't been updating from GitHub release. Let's take a quick look. I was told, I know somebody's working on it right now. I don't know if you've checked recently. Doesn't look like we got an update yet. So they are actively looking into it. So I can say there has been progress since last week. All right, hang tight. You're not the only one, so if that makes you feel better, we have one other person that is in that stuck state. So we're debugging it and seeing what's up. Yep, no problem. Anything else? Yeah, EVG's got a good question. I was expecting my messages to print in the console, but I found them in the script editor instead. What's the difference between them and how can I log in the console? Let's see. You are, we may have some redirects going on. So if you have the GUI open, you may not get console messages. I don't know. I haven't played around too much with that, but we can look at that together and see what's up. So we can use a script editor. And well, this won't be totally useful. So let's close this. And here's what we're going to do. Because if Obviously, if you launch from the launcher, you don't get a command window, so you don't get console output, or rather, you don't get hold on. Can you clarify what you mean by console versus script editor? Because I was going one direction, and I think you might be talking about something else. But for now, I'm going either way. I should launch from the command line just to shouldn't hurt. Okay, so open up a terminal, and then I can say that, right? So here is, this is where I got thrown off, is this is my console window for the application. Technically, is what I was thinking that you were talking about. But we also have the console window in the app. So you were talking about the console window in the app. Yeah. That should just work. Okay. So we have console, we have script editor, and we have terminal. We'll call that one terminal to disambiguate. So we're in here. We're going to do some stuff. Let's try print. Hello. We also have other ways of printing here. We could do, we're going to import logging, import carb, logger is equal to logging dot get logger, and then we're going to do carb log info. Oh, I know. I think I know what you ran into now that as I'm doing this. And then lastly, logger dot, I think it's info. It's been, if anybody wants to correct me on that one, and save me the Googling. Thought I got that part right. Python logging, get logger. So I could just use logging directly, I guess. Oh, look at that. It's a camel case. That's gross. All right. So what do we get here? If we print, okay, so if we print, we get it here. We get it there. This one didn't go out there, and that one didn't go out there. But if we look at the console, we got all three. What I wonder if maybe you had either warning or error filtered, filtering to just error or warning, and you didn't have this blue info one checked on, because all three of them printed here, and I didn't have to do anything special for that. Is that maybe the case? Now, this is where the redirect, I think, is happening, is that the logging, if I run this from command line, it will print all of these to console, to the terminal. But maybe they don't get sent out there if I have the app window open. Yeah. So that was the issue. No worries. That's a good one. It used to be that this used to be checked on by default. So easy to get tripped up on that. Cool. Easy one. Not too bad. Now I am kind of curious about running this through command line and see what happens here. Oh, we do have a snippet for this, don't we? Log. Very nice. I'm wondering why we don't show this here. Maybe that has a different level set. Yeah, there you go. It only shows warnings and errors. It doesn't do info. Wait. Yeah, it doesn't do info. So so there you go. So if you have both open, you'll only get, or the default is only warning and error, which I guess aligns with what we have here in the UI. I did want to do pure command line headless mode and see if it has a info on by default or if you have to set the level for that. But I won't waste everybody's time if there's other questions. Data Juggler's got one. If anybody does want to have me experiment with the terminal, let me know, or with headless mode. Okay. So Data Juggler saying getting the local transformation from a matrix or from a transform or an X-formable prim only works once. Or set my new position code doesn't work twice in a row. I feel like that one should work. There are some functions related to transformations where it's like extract rotation, and that is kind of a one time only. Once you've extracted it from the matrix, you can't re-extract it. But I thought local transformation should work. Let's try it out. So we're going to create a couple of X forms here. This one's at let's put this one at 1. We're on up 1. I guess it's easier. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do something bigger since we're in centimeters. And then we'll create a cube, parent that to that, and we'll leave that at 50. That's fine because it needs that pivot offset, I guess. Hold on. No, we want this exactly on the X form, and we're going to translate 100 on X. So there's that one floating in the air to the right, and there's that one just floating in the air. So now I should probably move this over to a script. Do we need this? Maybe. And then we'll copy. And we're going to call this one Xforming. While that's doing its thing, I don't know why that sometimes takes forever. Let's look at USD Xformable. This one. Get local transformation. It computes it. So, and then this one, is it any different? Nope, just an overload. Okay. All right, so as far as the documentation is concerned, it should just work as many times as we want. You fixed it? You fixed it? I didn't even get to do anything. Data juggler fixed it. All right. Well, I'm glad you figured it out. After all that setup. Anybody still curious to see it? I'm curious. From Pixar, import USD geom, import OmniUSD. USD geom. Xformable and give it the cube, get prim, or it is the prim already. And all right, last thing I need to do is set up the VS Code extension. What is this? Yeah. Enable. Send this code over. Oh, I don't know what I did. Cool. So that worked. This is a local transform because we know that it's only offset 100 on the X, and it doesn't know anything about the Y offset. And it worked twice, but Data Juggler figured it out. So, but good exercise. Any questions about this? Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, we can. Yeah, all good. To the data juggler. If there are no more questions, we can end early. We can all head off to our weekends. So we're just starting Friday out, or at least some of us. All right. Do I have any example of using subprocess within an extension? I have seen some issues with using subprocess. I don't have a good handle on what is going on there. I can try it out. We can try it out together and see what's up. I think we can fit that in. See if I get lucky. There were some. I remember in the past there were some nuances between Windows and Linux, and but it'd be good to kind of retry that and get a baseline of where that's at today. All right, so let's try it. What can we do as a sub process? I guess we can just print stuff out or something. Yeah, we can just sub process and call Python and do something simple. Okay. Sorry, I got stuck. Okay. So we're gonna come over here. We're gonna do DOH. Been doing this for a year, guys. 7/22/22. Okay, I've got our window. Now, I want to use a process pool. I haven't done that in a while. Python subprocess process pool. Oh wait, we're just talking about subprocess, not multiprocessing? Which one are you trying to do? Subprocess, I think should be fairly. If all we're doing is a one-off call to some other process, I think that's fairly proven there. Let's do a quick search to see if anybody's done it. Yeah, just subprocess. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's see. Oh, the asset validator might be a good one. Yeah, it looks like they're doing this all over the place. Because they're probably calling, I don't know what they're doing, but let's try it. This is create app setup extension. I like this one. This is calling the which command. Seems pretty simple. I can never remember what pipe does and all that, but this should be which, yeah. All right, let's do it. I think I closed my extension window. There we go. We click the button. We say button clicked, and then we call subprocess. Import subprocess. We're going to do this on one line. And we're going to call, I don't know which Python this is going to call, but we're going to do Python. And we're going to do C. And we're going to do print hello world. Okay. There we go. Hot reload. Looks good. Click me. Button clicked. Did it maybe go to the console? To the terminal? No. All right. Let's do check call. And what's call check output? I may need to reconfirm what pipe is doing there. I probably don't want to pipe. So it didn't error out. It didn't raise an error. Just checking the terminal. There it is. So that went out that way. And that sounds right. So it worked. It's been a long time since I've messed around with the subprocess. Output of one command to the input of another. No, this is not what I want. Let's just go to the subprocess documentation. Anyways, let me know. Let me know if that's sufficient, or if I should keep going down this path, or if there's something else you want me to look at here. The difference, or what does multiprocess do? Multiprocess will run, will spin up new processes, and you can give it Python code to run in those processes. So you can do this kind of thing. Here's my function, and I want this to run in a new process, and then you can do a pool of processes to, for example, this one. Here's one way that you could do it is map this list of arguments to this function, and it'll run all of these in parallel, return the results, and then you can and then it print in this case it printed them out. But that's a way to have concurrency in Python, where threading is in Python has its issues. Multiprocessing can help with that, with some overhead involved, but most of the time when you're thinking of concurrency, you probably want multiprocessing. Other than, well, if you want parallelism, because there's also async IO for concurrency. I always mix up that terminology, but I think I got it right that time. This is going to bug me. So what does call have? I'm going to keep going with this unless somebody else has another question. If you have a question, please raise it, and I will switch over. There it is. So this one has, I don't want shell. I know you can we can do check output and then print that out. That would be one way to go about it. Maybe that's the right way to do it. So we would do so that gave me that. Gave it to me in binary. So maybe. I don't know if that's going to do it. How did I break that? I forgot a parenthesis. Thanks, Data Juggler. Last thing that I'm going to do, unless I get another question, this will be the last thing, which is convert binary string. Blah, 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 blah. Decode ASCII's. We probably want UTF. So we just dot encode or dot decode. Come back over here. I didn't expect that to be in binary. There it is. Beautiful. That's probably what you want to do anyways in a situation like this, is you want to get that output back and do something with it. Oh, all right. Thanks, Nandu. We got some questions here. All right, I'm gonna do the one that I know first. What's the point of not using async IO, which I think is used by a lot of Omniverse libs and modules? Great question. Async IO is great, but it will it is sharing one thread among your different tasks. So in the situation where you have something that is going to take a long time, and you can use async IO, I believe, for multiprocessing type of situations. Async IO, multiprocess. Anyways, the question that we were focusing on was calling some is typically you want to call some other command, maybe another Python instance, maybe another executable. In which case you do want to use subprocess for that. I don't think there's a way around that. But sometimes you may also use multiprocessing to also distribute that work across multiple processes to have some parallelism there. And then also, sometimes you have code that you want to take advantage of multiple cores, and so you would use multiprocessing for that as well. So async IO is typically one thread, and they're sharing, they're renting it. Your different tasks are renting time on there. So when one task is maybe has some moment of idle, maybe there's an IO portion that it's kind of waiting. Another task can jump in and take advantage of that thread, is my understanding. So I would look into comparisons of the three, async IO, threading, multiprocessing, as well as concurrency versus parallelism. But I thought async IO also has some multiprocessing. It hooks into multiprocessing as well. Blah, blah, blah. Process pool executor. This is the one. Which I don't. This may be old API. There may be a run in executor. So this would be saying, I believe this runs whatever you give it in separate processes. Anyways, yeah, encourage you to check that out. The other question was from Bubba. What would be the best way to update a plot, or for that matter, anything, every X seconds upon starting a simulation? Good question. So what would I do here? You want to register for updates. So let me Omniverse. Nope, not that one. All right. You know what? We have this here. Go to developer guide. Go to code samples, events. You can register for update events. And I wonder if the physics one has a... Nope. Okay, so you want to subscribe to update events. There's also a simulation update event, so that may be more appropriate. But what you can do is either... This would give you the delta time between each update I feel like I've done a live stream on this before. I've answered this question before. But this would give you the delta time between each time that this function is fired. So you could accumulate that. And then once you've hit your threshold of seconds between, you go ahead and do whatever you wanted to do, clear out that variable that's holding the lapse time between those updates, and then keep going. You'll keep summing the DT until you reach your threshold, and then do it again. Does that help? I'll leave that open. I don't know. There's sometimes questions that I answer that I don't have prepared that I am. So I may have answered this in the past, but I didn't. It wasn't one of my prepared ones. So maybe I should prepare this one for another time. Cool. Yeah. If you're still stuck, let me know. You can reach out on Discord. And I can prepare. We can talk offline, and then I can also prepare a proper prepared answer for this one. I think it's worth it. Cool. All right, wrapping up here. If you haven't yet, go to NVIDIA Omniverse, NVIDIA.com Omniverse, and join our community insider program. This is just a form that you fill out. Tell us about yourself, what applications you like to use, what sort of expertise you have. And that way we can learn a little bit more about you, and when opportunities come, like partners or customers that are looking for experts in certain things, or if we have some focus groups or something like that for particular connectors or features, we know who we can reach out to from the community to connect with the right opportunities. And then next week, here is our upcoming events for next week. I'll be doing the USD with me. I'll be doing blend shapes, USD scale blend shapes next week, and seeing how to code that up. Ashley's going to be continuing to work on her app, and then we have how to create AI generated 3D models on Wednesday, and Eric's engineering design in Omniverse as regularly scheduled. So there you go. And yeah, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.